All right, Rob. Sad day in NBA circles. Jerry West, the logo, passed away at age 86.
What a run, Chris. 86 years old, and he was still getting around, still working.
Man, he was. Looked great.
Seriously.
Like you said, moving around. I mean, he really was in good shape.
That was a blessing at 86.
Yep, no doubt. And Rob, I knew him. I knew Jerry pretty well. Covering the league for about 30 years. Got to know him. He was one of my favorite people in the NBA to talk to. He loved talking about, what's going on around the league and all that stuff. Rob, I think you can, as far as if these things exist, you probably could call him like a basketball genius. He was phenomenal as a player. I'd say by just about everybody's standards, unless they completely dismiss, the older era. He's a top 20 player of all time. As I said earlier, the logo of the whole league. And then, Rob, when he stopped playing, he became arguably the greatest executive in the history of the league. I would say so. He helped put together the Showtime Lakers. Magic, Kareem, Worthy, Jamal Wilkes. They had some great players. Byron Scott. And then he compelled Shaq, I guess along with the sunshine and beaches of L.A., he compelled Shaq to come to the Lakers as a free agent. Drafted Kobe, Rob. And Kobe, of course, did not, and you know this, he didn't come out of high school like LeBron. He was ballyhooed and touted, but LeBron was like a surefire, this guy's going to be historically great, no-brainer, number one pick. Kobe was the 13th pick. The 13th pick. And Jerry West saw something in him that a lot of other people didn't see. And he bamboozled the Charlotte Hornets, and Rob got Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac. And the rest is history.
I remember, Chris, I swear to you, I was on a pre-draft TV debate. This is a long time when Kobe was, I think it was
when he was in the draft?
Yeah, this was on Sports Channel in New York, Chris. This is how far back this goes.
Okay.
And the one guy who I was set up to debate against was the biggest. He was all about Kobe. And it was a debate I had to struggle with because.
Do you remember who the guy was?
I can't remember who the guy was, but he was
saying Kobe
was going to be that guy. Without any hesitation. And all I was saying was, yeah, there's a chance that he could be that. If he was all that, he'd be the first overall pick. The way like that kind of stuff.
Right.
The way you're talking about him, I think you're over the top. He's a kid.
Right.
He's still got to learn. Blah blah blah. I'm not saying he won't be a great player, but I think you're way off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this dude, I still to this day, because I remember struggling with that debate with him, and he was right. That was like 40
no doubt
years
about
ago.
that. Yep.
It was like 30 years ago.
But yeah, Rob. So here's what did you know Jerry well at all,
Just
or
a little
do you
bit.
have any memory?
No, just a little bit. You know what I mean? I talked to him a few times, Chris, but nothing to say like, "Yo, Rob, what's up? What's up, Jerry?" I didn't have that kind of a relationship with him. And from afar, the stuff that always, was how nervous he was to watch games. I always like the it would eat him up.
That was part of his legend.
Yeah,
he would not be able to. Right, when he was GM of the Lakers, he would leave the arena or go walk around or drive around or something. That's how much anxiety the games cost him, or brought about in him. And that is a part of his legend, Rob. Is that's how he was as an executive. Here's what I want to throw out at you, and you might not even have a definitive answer. I don't know that I do. But just as a discussion, was he a better – because, Rob, he's in the Hall of Fame as a player and a coach. I'm sorry, a player and an executive, and he will be inducted again. He will be inducted again as a contributor. He's in as a player and an executive.
None of that. And that's
I mean, I agree.
It doesn't make any sense, Chris.
He's in once.
He's in the Hall of Fame. Right, Come on, dude. Right. Stop it.
But that's how they do it. And so the point I want to ask you is, or he's in twice, I guess, a contributor and a player. This year they're putting him in as a contributor for some reason. But do you think he was a better player or executive?
I think this is easy. And I think it's as an executive.
Wow. Easy.
And the only reason I say that is, Chris, he did a lot, obviously as a player, but he lost a lot as a player as well.
Yep.
And I think he won as an executive, and his hands or fingerprints are all over it. It wasn't like he was there for the ride. You just talked about it. He fleeced the Charlotte. He got Shaq to come. He made real moves. He got Kawhi, right, to go to the Clippers, right? He was with the Clippers. So when I look at him, I think of all the great moves and stuff. That's not to take anything away from him, Chris, because he went to 9 finals. The only problem is he's 1-8,
right, in
those finals,
right.
So right, never won an MVP for all the stuff that he did. Finals, yes, and whatnot. So I'm not belittling his playing career because he was a tremendous player. But when you look at people and you think about it, winning factors in, and it does define you. I always talk about Marv Levy, Chris, and he's not a Marv Levy, but I always talk about as great as Marv Levy was and what he did in Buffalo, it's just hard to get people to wrap their arms fully around you because he didn't win. Now, Jerry did win. Right. As a player once. But as an executive, what did he win? 8 times?
Yes.
Was it 8? I mean, that's a
And he left the Lakers after the first Kobe Shaq championship. So he doesn't get credit for those last
teams,
2, but
right.
Yeah, they basically were his team.
You know what I mean?
You could even give him credit for those and it'd be 10,
So when you look at stuff like that, Chris, I don't know how you can look at him. He might be the greatest executive in the history of the NBA.
He probably is. I mean, so I think, Rob, who would you argue against him? Pat Riley, but Riley hasn't. He just hasn't brought the stars. I mean, obviously the big 3 Heatles went there, but they left after they broke up after 4 years. And now they're known for having, good players, but not great players. Riley went down, Rob, and coached the team that won the first championship. Riley's there. I don't want to belittle Riley's tenure either. But you probably got to go with West. I'm going to give him some props as a player, though, Rob, because understandably, Rob, a lot of the younger people don't know how great he was as a player. And I get that. I mean, his last season was like, 1974 or something like that. He played during the 60s for the most part. But people don't understand how great he was. Rob, I've got him as the 3rd best shooting guard ever, behind, of course, Jordan and Kobe. He averaged 27 points and 6.7 assists for his career. And then gave you 6 rebounds a game as well. He is the all-time leader in finals points. And you could say, well, he went to 10 or 9. Well, LeBron's been to 10. And he still doesn't have as many points as Jerry West does. Jerry West is 8th all-time in points per game with 27. He'll probably end up higher. Some of the guys ahead of him, your Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic. Doncic may stay up there. Durant, we'll see if he stays up there. LeBron. Rob, as they keep playing, their career average might come down.
Right.
Just because they're only like tenths of a point ahead of him. So, but he's 8th right now, right ahead, 1 spot ahead of Allen Iverson. Rob, he is the all-time leading scorer in finals games of 25 or more points, 30 points, and 40 points. And obviously that includes Michael Jordan. And so you're right. He only won one championship out of 9 trips to the finals and never won an MVP. That was an era, Rob, where basically they only gave the MVP to bigs.
Yeah.
It was Russell or Wilt. You know what I mean?
And they
Elgin
were both
Baylor.
worthy at that time, and it's hard to argue.
Oh, yeah, they
both
were
of those
great.
guys
I mean,
were
taking nothing away from them. Yeah. Oscar Robertson never won an MVP. Elgin Baylor, who was awesome, never won an MVP. Oscar may have. Oscar, did he win an MVP? He did win one. He won one. But that was it. And so Jerry West, I think, was a phenomenal player. And a lot of people, Rob, let's just keep it, we keep it real on this show. A lot of people will look back, they do look back and say, oh, this white guy, he's a guard. I mean, how good could he really have been? Because you hear that about Jordan, Rob. Oh, he played against Mark Price. He played against Craig Elo.
Right.
I mean, what they call
they
him
weren't around. They didn't watch
He's playing
those guys.
accountants.
Right.
You know what I mean? Isn't Austin Reeves doing work in the NBA today, Rob?
Thank you.
Isn't Alex Caruso really ballyhooed?
Hello,
right?
Yes.
I mean, come on, Kevin Love's pretty good. Tyler Hero
can't jump over a phone book, and he's the best player in the league.
Well, there you go. And that's what, hopefully a Jokic, a Luka, Rob, will get people to realize there actually have been some really good white players. And Jerry West is right there at the top with any of the players. And he was phenomenal. And he will be missed by the NBA, Rob. I mean, he's in the discussion, Rob. I mean, he didn't win the most, obviously. But just as far as what he did as a player and an executive, and to use the Hall of Fame's word, a contributor, he's right up there for Mr. NBA. He's right up there with anybody else. So Jerry West will be missed, no doubt about it.